Hey everyone, so I had somebody ask me about one of my videos. I did not ask them which video specifically they were looking into. It was probably the one where I talked about how to make your first $100,000. But this person asked me, um, wow, all of that was very inciting. However, I've never really had anyone show me any guidance. I've never really had anyone point me in direction in which I should go. This person had just leased their first rental, and they are now renting um, a unit all by themselves. And they're asking me, how do I budget? How do I start investing? So their first question was, how do I start investing? Well, first and foremost, before investing, we must understand um, how much we are saving, how much we have in savings, how much we have available to us before we can think about investing in something like the stock market. So, before we get there, what I've asked him to do was one, list, um, show me your last credit card statement. Typically, people who are not doing well financially, not saying that this is the case for him, but typically they would have more than one credit card that they're utilizing at all times. So it's easier for me to look at my credit card statements and say, oh, I'm not going to do this again because I'm only utilizing one credit card. But so here's the thing. Let's say I haven't gotten these things yet, but let's say I get the credit card statements and it's from 3 credit cards. Just an example, because again, I haven't received these yet. And then the next thing that I asked was include your rent in your line items of debt that you have to pay. Afterwards, I can't look at my phone now because I've already started the recording. But essentially, I'm going to ask, what is your credit card statements? How much do you earn per month? And then include your rent in the debts that you need to pay. And then before we can start investing, we need a savings cushion. So we need to understand how much is, I would say, if you don't hate your job and your job is pretty secure, you can start investing after you've saved at least 3 months of expenses. That doesn't mean that you stop saving to get to 6 months of expenses. That means that you can just start investing, but you will still save as well until you get to that 6 months of expenses. Now, the reason why I say have at least 3 months of expenses because anything can happen and you may need that 3 months of expenses may just go towards a small emergency. And then you'll have to build that up again and you'll have to stop investing. But with 6 months of expenses, you'll definitely have a cushion in order to handle that small emergency or handle this and that. And it may not just be for a job loss. Everybody thinks that 6 months of expenses is just in case of job loss. No, it can be for a variety of different reasons. And so 6 months definitely gives you a bigger cushion in order to do the things that you may need to do. Whereas 3 months is a cushion, but it may not be enough. And what we don't want is that you start tapping into your investments because you've fallen down a hole where 3 months of expenses is not enough for you to get out. However, if you like your job a lot and you believe you'll be there long term, then maybe after you hit your 3 months of expenses, you now cut that savings in half each month going forward, and you start investing that other half portion. Um, and then you continue to save, and invest and invest and invest until you've reached the 6 months of expenses. And then even now, after I've touched my 6 months of expenses, I still put in a few $100s towards my savings. Although is I have an emergency fund, then I have a separate savings account, and then I have my checking account, right? So we're still putting money towards savings every single month, even after we've got it fully funded. It's just not as much, and it's just for things like a big investment like real estate that you don't want to touch your stocks for or something like that, right? And then, other businesses might come about, especially during this time, that you may want to purchase in cash, and you don't want to go into your investments in order to do that. Some people take from their stock market investments in order to fuel other investment practices, which is okay. But my goal is not to do that. And if your goal is the same, you want your stock market investments to grow on its own, and you want to have cash set aside to do other things, like invest in other things. And someone might say, you're not utilizing your cash to its full potential, having it out of the market. But at the same time, cash is king. And when you have that sitting there, you can now deploy it and utilize it as you see fit. And, I am not ever going to be struggling in any means or capability, right? So like this house that I'm in is mine. The stocks that I invest in are mine, because I do not ever let go of any company unless I deem that that company no longer fits me, my character, my mentality, my values, and I believe that it may trickle down into its stock profits as well. And so when I invest in a company, I invest in them for the long term as well, because I agree with what they stand for and everything that they're doing. So with that being said, at least 3 to 6 months of expenses. I would say 6 months of expenses before you start investing in anything. And that would mean if you decide to get a car the next day, you need to include that into your 6 months of expenses. How much savings do you have in order to get to where you need to go? So, we're almost approaching 2023, and we need to get our stuff in line. We need to be ready in order to tackle on this new time. And it's a great time for, especially this gentleman is a lot younger than me, which is saying something. And they're getting ready to, they just moved into a new place, super excited. And he's ready to not only take on this new life experience for himself, but he's looking at saving, investing, budgeting correctly, being stable, being mature, and being someone who is, accountable for his actions. That's what you want to see. You want to see people who have taken initiative and they're ready to basically change the trajectory of their lives. And obviously they work hard, or else they wouldn't be able to afford the apartment that they just moved into. And so now you got to contribute that hard work and working hard with also working smart. And in working smart, you will save some money. In working smart, you will budget more accordingly. In working smart, you will cancel some of that bad debt. In working smart, you will cut off some of the fat from your life. And in trimming that fat, you're going to now be able to invest. And when you're able to invest, you're able to see that growth compound, and compound, setting yourself up for retirement, setting yourself up for your future, for the legacy that you want to leave, if you want to leave one, and for whatever else you may want to do in life, whether it be travel the world, whether it be just live modestly. All of that comes from financial freedom. So what goals do you have for yourself? What are you looking to accomplish, and how do you want to accomplish that? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.